Right.
which kind of moves into one of the last things that anyone really wants to do, but it's a reality of being an employer. Either employees leave, they stay, or they are forced to leave.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we want to talk about, which we've had quite a few questions in the past about the whole termination process. So
yeah, and let's talk about this a bit.
Right.
And you first of all, you need to be professional. I agree with our main point here. Starting point is that it needs to be done professionally. And you've talked about it earlier, Fernando. Not dealing with people when you're angry. That's not going to end well. You need to do it in a way that's going to be first of all, that you've done your research, that you figured out what your process is going to be for termination. Have you followed all the due processes in regards to it? Is there an automatic dismissal here, or does there need to be a progressively disciplinary process? We're going to get into those. And you need to look at your safety as well. If it's abuse, if it's other aspects, and you're worried about your safety, you need to look at, does this need to happen immediately, right, versus a process. So let's get into this a bit. So, for automatic dismissals, you need to have just cause for automatic.
So let's talk a little.
And so what do we mean by automatic is the employment standards laws say there are only certain things where you're going to end an employment after 3 months without having to pay either severance pay or provide a certain amount of notice.
Right.
You can let an employee go, but you have to provide those things usually after 3 months.
Right.
The only way that you wouldn't have to do is that if you're in the probationary period, you can let somebody go, right, anytime in that 3 months. Or if there's been abuse, theft, fraud, or any form of breach of trust, a breach of duty.
There are a few more, but they're also available on the workbook there.
Exactly. This only just gives a few examples, right? The threshold for just cause is very high. I need to say that. So they don't take this lightly. Abuse, it needs to be, what is abuse, right? Did somebody swear at you once? Is that abuse? Is abuse yelling and screaming at you on the top of their lungs?
Oh, I see. Right.
Is that abuse? Right. Those are things that consulting a lawyer and having some discussions may be something to consider. But you can ask an employee to leave immediately, and you can look at your options at that point. Right. So but you should always never put your safety at risk.
Right.
If there's abuse going on, you call a friend right away, get somebody over there if you need to, and get the person out of there. Then you can look at your employment standards laws and deal with get some legal help necessary, right? But but don't have an employee that's abusing you. Stay with you. So we've seen a lot of people, unfortunately, in that situation where they are being abused, not necessarily physically, but emotionally out there. And if you're in that situation, please know there's supports out there. You can contact us at the Individualized Funding Resource Center. We can help with some of that as well. We can connect you with some really good legal people as well to get access to good information too. So
good points,
so these are areas, are examples of areas where you can let somebody go right away. Now, as we move to the next one is, what you said here at the bottom here, what about plain old bad performance? What about the person just keeps on coming late? Right? They continuously need to be told what the routine is, and they've now worked for me for a year or two, and it's just not. It's frustrating.